Say hi to Freddie. Sorry for the blip. Don't know what that was. Anyway, hi everybody. My name is Sarah, also known as Goldilocks, and I'm here with the gang. Freddie over here behind me, Frankie out there in the kitchen trying to break into a Temptations treat. It's the regular kind of morning here. Full moon. I love it. How are you today? Oh, I love being a Goldilocks in this world. Anyway, do you have your cuppa? These are my new little espresso. Well, this is my new little espresso mug that I got. And it's that double walled thing. I love it. And it's just the right size. I like the little handle. And it looks so much bigger as I'm holding it up to you. It's really only like 5 ounces or something. So I have my first cup of black. And like it's a big girl thing. Took a long time to get here, that's for sure. I love the comments I've been receiving. My pickles and snowflakes and Goldilocks and no matter what club members and of course the turtles were all here, and it seems like everybody's doing a rebounder. First thing they have to do is blow the dust off of it. So I guess it must have been a fad trend a while back, and I wasn't glomming onto it. I missed that one. Nobody sent me that memo. Maybe I was doing the standard American diet and was too busy figuring out how I was going to have, a couple of desserts at night. So, yep, we've all been doing it, and people have been saying how they've been doing it. And one male turtle wrote in and he said that he does it 20 to 30 minutes a day. His feet never leave the mat, leave the mat, that he just kind of does this. And he wears his socks and he does that. So I think that feels great. I don't have to do any, wonderful gymnastics or anything like that. I can do it and kind of just get that bouncing effect in. I still do the fisting on my love handles. Does anybody else do that? So, yep, we do that. And I did get an air fryer. It's a big dog. It's an Instapot air fryer. And although I love fats on my meats, I realized that when I reheat something like the chicken breast, I can put it in a little Fiesta bowl with a little bit of oil on it or ghee or butter and have it just reheat and have that nice coating of, moisty, fatty stuff come back in. And I'm not using it to cut the fat in what I'm eating. I'm using it as, it's like having a second set of hands in the kitchen because it's over there doing what it does while I'm tending to other things. There's a lot of production that goes on feeding that standard American diet man of mine. And so this helps. Otherwise, I'd just be, reheating the ribeye in the cast iron. I will still reheat my beef items in the cast iron, but with pork and maybe some chicken every now and then, the air fryer is good for that. So, and cooking it as well as reheating. But I find that I love to have a fridge full of food ready at any time, from bacon to ribeyes. And it just helps in my, pulling it all off. So I posted this plate, this sampler. This is going to seem like it was a long time ago watching this and remembering back to that. But I couldn't finish it. But it was just too much fun to have something of every, to me, food group. I had burger, I had an egg, I had chicken thigh, pork rib, ribeye. Yeah, I think I had all those things. Anyway, it's fun. Should have had a side of cottage cheese. I mean, my goodness, we went that far, right? So I'm loving this new introduction of the gadget, and it forced me to make space on my shelf, because if I couldn't just go to it, bring it to the counter, plug it in, and use it, then I know it would soon be gathering dust like the rebounders, right? So I made space, and that meant that I had to throw out some stuff. I like that. I was throwing out stuff, I don't know, circa 2015. Yeah. So it was good. I think that's when, I think it was 2014 or 15 that I went keto. So it was a twofer because I got the benefit of a little, tossing, and then now I've got the air fryer in its place. So I'll be learning how to use that gadget, and hopefully it integrates just nicely into everything. So yeah, a lot of people have said they've been doing their rebounder. They talk about how they drink their coffee, or if they drink their coffee. And, it's once you start doing the carnivore, it's kind of eat meat and repeat, right? So what is there? A lot to talk about. I'm not fancy Nancy in the kitchen. I'm pretty standard, not standard American, but standard carnivore in, I like meat nicely cooked, still moist, bordering on mostly rare when it's a steak. And then I like my burger. And so I'm just kind of simple that way. To dress up a plate, I might have an egg, not anything fancy. I'm not into spices anymore. Redmond salt is my friend on my dinner plate. And in my coffee, this morning, it was funny, I had my water, and I have warmed water with a quarter of a teaspoon of no salt for the potassium, and then I put in pink Himalayan salt. And I went like this with the pink Himalayan salt, and I went 3 shakes of a lamb's tail. Remember that? I remember that saying, and it immediately made me think of my grandmother, because she had this neat old, those old stoves that you lit with the safety match and the broiler thing, and it came out like this, and she'd put like 2 little lamb chops on it. My grandmother was definitely a Goldilocks, a lovely Goldilocks, and she had everything just so. And maybe that's where I got that just so. And then my father was, when sober, so we're not talking a lot here. He was very Goldilocks too. He was, I think he thought he was a British monarch, because the way that he had to have his morning thing, it probably made my also alcoholic mother, who couldn't wait to have her instant breakfast with whiskey in it. She probably couldn't wait to put him on the train after, being home too drunk to work. And so, he had to have his egg cup, those egg cups that are very British, his little thing of juice, his big thing of like the big tea mugs that you see in English society. And he was very just so when sober. And it's so funny because when he drank, he didn't care if he ate or anything. I mean, nothing mattered to him. But when sober, the suit had to be dry cleaned, and it had to come from, Brooks Brothers, and all of the finery and the musts had to be in place. So maybe I've adopted a little bit of that, and I was adopted too. So that's interesting. But yeah, so once I started eating carnivore, which could be the same for a lot of you, it's like, okay, so there we go. That's it. And so the things that get tweaked are, circling the wagon. And it's kind of like it's the salts, it's the water intake, it's the coffee or not, the tea or not. Do I have an avocado or not? Am I having dairy or not, eggs or not? And paying attention to the reaction that my body, your body, our bodies have when we add, subtract, Mitty Joe's, kiss a fool, have a fight. The things that we have, and we see how our body responds to having them after eliminating them for a while. So it's interesting. So, I'm glad I had the rebounder to talk about. I'm glad I had the, air fryer to talk about. It just, it adds to, producing the food, and it's 1 meal a day. So definitely a lot of those pressures slowly get lifted off of our back, and the burdens of the food. I do call myself the food manager with my refrigerators and what gets, moved to a different bin, meaning it's next in the production line for Greg's five of his Monday through Friday, same things that I make him. And then, how I'm handling what I'm going to have for Monday through Thursday, because Friday is usually the fresh ground burger from the butcher. A Saturday is the meatza pizza, and Sunday is cooking on the big green egg again. So, I only have to think of 4 different ways of eating my mostly beef, sometimes pork, sometimes chicken meals. And, that breaks it down. It is simple, but then what's left? Well, what's left is really, enjoying life for what it is, and seeing how our bodies respond. I watch Beating Obesity a lot. Jim and Mike from Carnivore are kind of like in the same, class of when we all started together here. And so they're my classmates, and I love to see Jim's charts and graphs, and how he can insert something into his video. It's been a challenge for me, a challenge so much that you've never seen it here. That's how much of a challenge it is. So, and how, his difference and everything else, and I appreciate that. This is my chart and graph of my cholesterol. So we do what we do, we see how we feel, and suddenly, like one woman commented today, that she's 77, and she's doing carnivore, and she's doing her rebounder. And, it's like, it's so wonderful to hear these things. And I sat there and I think of our grandmothers in their 70s, and how, basically, I remember my grandmother getting up and putting on those black-heeled tie-up shoes, some sort of a, very dark color, drab, no pattern, house dress, almost. It was like a shirtwaist, and letting her hair down when she slept, and then putting it back up, and those little squiggly hairpins that weren't like bobby pins that could close. They were just kind of like hairpins, and she'd put her hair in a bun. That was it for the day, right? And so I can't picture her carrying in bags of groceries and figuring out the meals and doing all that kind of stuff. I suppose she did all that, but I just see her as like ready to like make dinner or something like that. It was different. That's one grandmother. The other one was the elegant little breakfast tray that had the marmalade and stuff like that on it. But I don't think that I think if we were put next to our grandmothers at 70 and they're 70, we sure look a lot different. So 70 could be the new 40 or 50 or 30 or whatever. I know that with my carnivore, the energy is the most amazing, astounding thing, and where it comes from and how long it lasts. I do have a timer on my energy, though. I get up at 3, sometimes before that, and I just do my day, and then I stop and I become, it was funny, I was watching Curb Your Enthusiasm yesterday, and Larry wanted, is it Mickey? The funny one with the mouth, always seems like he's got something in it, married to Susie, and he wanted him to do something, and he goes, "You don't understand. I'm in my sweats. Once I'm in my sweats, it's non-negotiable." And they pan down to him in his sweats, his black sweats, and I'm like laughing because it's like, oh yeah, once I'm in the sweats, there's no going back. There's no, I'm not putting on jeans and going out and doing something. I'll put on a long coat over my sweats and go do something. But the sweats is it. There's no more fitting into jeans and tying up boots or zipping up boots. Day over, girly. You're done. You're in your sweats. If you have to go out, put on a coat, make your run. It's harder in the summer, but in the winter it's easy. So that's how I do my carnivore day. I plan my OMAD. I look so forward to what I'm having. It's that limited list of the meats, every now and then sausage and bacon, but mostly meats like beef, scrambled burger, sometimes a pot roast, sometimes short ribs. And pork, I like fatty ribs. And thighs with the crispy skin. And not too often. I have a few bites of chicken and I'm kind of done. But that skin is tasty, isn't it? And so then I just do my day. Eggs, yes. Dairy, yes. Limited amounts, yes, yes. And I go about my day with my liquids, with my salts in them, 3 shakes of a lamb's tail of the pink Himalayan in my lemon water that's been warmed. And then my Gerolsteiner, sometimes of San Pellegrino, and then my beloved cuppa. So that's how I go about my day. Just simple, easy stuff. How about you guys? What's your routine? Are you a Goldilocks in the morning with your stuff? Let me know. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Carnivore. Carnivore every day. Yeah, carnivore. Thanks for watching. I'll see you the next time. Bye-bye for now.